Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to some more thoughts on Dune. I wasn't going to talk about this anymore. I mentioned it briefly on a live stream, and I cut that out and made it its video, but a lot of people have been asking me about it, and I think I kind of took it for granted that people remembered that I'd done a whole book study on Dune, and we really, Big Al and I delved into the themes of Dune, because Dune is one of the books that I've studied quite a bit, actually. But then I realized that I have a lot of new subscribers, and maybe you should get these thoughts out again just in one sort of cohesive video, concise video, and then see, how we can apply them to the film. Because I'm hearing just the most ridiculous justifications for the movie and the changes it made. Now, I didn't see the movie. I won't see the movie. I never saw the first one. I won't see that because they've already made fundamental changes. And I know the immediate knee-jerk script reaction for anybody who wants to defend the movie is, "Oh, you can't talk about it because you didn't see it." Grow up. you can judge it plenty without seeing it. You learn things about it and whatnot. For example, the first thing that put me off of the first film was the gender swap of Kynes' character, or Keynes, however you want to say it. I've heard it pronounced different ways. But something little like that, you might say, well, it wasn't a big deal, though. It actually wasn't a big deal. It was just, it was a little gender swap thing. It wasn't a big deal, though. You just move beyond that. You can't move beyond that because, especially when it comes to gender swaps or changes to gendered roles and occupations of characters, you're blowing apart the whole point of Dune. And I'll be quick with this because I could, kind of go into it for a while, but Frank Herbert was a Jungian. That's a fact. He actually studied to be a psychoanalyst under a couple that had studied under Carl Jung himself. And Frank Herbert actually did practice Jungian psychoanalysis for a short time anyway. And the foundations of that, I mean, the men and women are different. There's the masculine and feminine forces. They need to be balanced. They need to be all these things. And he put that in Dune from the ground up. I mean, you've got the Bene Gesserit, who are this what you would really say is a toxic feminine. The scheming, the behind the scenes, the playing with the gene pools. That's what, women are the determiners of. They're the ones who determine whose genes get passed on. I mean, barring any kind of forced sexual contact. Women choose the mates, and then they choose what genetic code gets passed down, just speaking from an evolutionary standpoint. And the Bene Gesserits take that to a whole new level, right? To a toxic level where they're meddling in everybody else's, affairs and whatnot. You've got the Spacing Guild, which took what would have been a masculine approach. The Mentats are like this too, in terms of being very... They take it to the extreme, to the toxic level in terms of being cold and detached. And the movie shows types of balances coming through, but the makers, the worms, the sandworms themselves, they're these large phallic symbols penetrating the sands of Dune, fertilizing it, creating the spice. It's from the ground up. There are themes of father son. So to make Kynes a woman suddenly, that breaks up some of that father son themes. There is mother son and mother progeny themes as well, but you don't just go in there willy-nilly changing things. To remove Paul's sister, that's just absurd. She's such an integral part of that, and people are, they're starting to... I've heard less defenses of the movie now that the part 2 came out, and the extent of how much they're willing to meddle with and monkey with and just blow apart all of the story and themes is come to light now. So there's less defenses of it now. But now I'm hearing something ridiculous. Well, you got to go see it for the cinematic experience, though. You just need to go see it because it's so, hey, I don't remember the last time I was in a theater and everybody around me was reacting at the same time. It was just this great communal experience. This drives me crazy. We need to stop this nonsense. We need to keep story first in our priorities. So many people in fandom are just looking for a community. They just want a community experience. They don't care about the franchises or the stories, or if they do care, it's way down on their priority list. Number one for them is they've got to feel like they belong to a community, which is why some of these channels do so well, that play into that kind of idea. They go to these movies and they will be willing to excuse all this kind of stuff. I mean, look at Avatar. Avatar is a perfect example. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gives a crap about Avatar. Even people who say they love the movie, they really don't care about Avatar. And what I mean by that is it's never really taken hold into our culture. There are no cultural references to Avatar. Generally, we kind of know of that movie as the blue people thing that's supposed to be really technologically advanced in terms of cinematics. And that's as far as Avatar has ever truly made it into the culture. And as much money as people pour into it, and as much time as people spend saying, "Oh, you got to go see Avatar in the theaters. The visuals were spectacular." As much time and energy people spend on that, you would think that the films themselves would seep into our culture a bit more and be kind of foundational, but they don't, because the stories just aren't there. The stories to Avatar 1 and Avatar 2 are just poorly done. They're very thin. There's nothing really to resonate with people. Oh, but the visuals. Story is first. Go to a freaking museum, look at a painting. If you need to see some visuals, or create a whole other art form of just moving pictures without story or whatever, if that's what you want. But stop sacrificing story in these films just so you can have the amazing visuals or the communal experience or whatever. That hurts culture. Now, there's nothing wrong with the communal experience. That's important. But that's not the priority when it comes to story. When it comes to mythologies and cultural mythologies and movies and whatnot, we need to prioritize and really demand stories to be treated properly. And of course, no film can be a perfect adaptation of a book. It's a different medium. It's going to have to make changes. I think one of the best examples is Peter Jackson's original Lord of the Rings, and it made some crazy changes that a lot of people are still unhappy with to this day. And at the same time, you look at it and you're like, I kind of see why they would have had to do that. Like, I wish they could have made like 3 movies for each book. Then we could have had Tom Bombadil, and we could have had the return to the Shire at the end, and all of these kinds of things. But given the time they had, you can at least say, well, I understand there's a reason why they had to do that. The only reason, I mean it, the only reason for any of the changes in Dune is to please the DEI agents or whatever. That is the only reason. And you people just give them a pass on that left and right. Well, I mean, yeah, but it was the experience of it was great. You don't know how insidious they are. They take a little bit more and a little bit more. And this is what they want to do. They want to change everything. They want to fundamentally change all of the foundational stories that you've stood on. And Dune was a big one. Dune was one that clearly defined masculine and feminine and men and women. I mean, Dune was a real staple story in that regard. And look what they've done. And you've let them do it. You've let them do it. By all of your little acquiescences and all of your little, well, this and that, and I'm going to be level-headed, so I'm going to go see it first, and then I'm going to, talk about what was good, and then talk about what was bad. You've let them win. They've already won, and you've let them do it. So it's really frustrating. Again, I could go longer into really talking about all of the nuts and bolts of the film and the analysis, but I did that on my book studies. If you're interested, Al and I did so many chapters at a time. You can go back and listen to those in my video feed, or just search for them there. We went through and we went pretty well. Went really kind of carefully going through and calling out a lot of these narrative structures, but then also some of the big, more thematic issues there as well. So yeah, that's there if you want to take a look at it. I do recommend you read the book. Even if you've already seen the movie and you read part of the book, you tell everybody that you read the book because you don't want to admit that you didn't. But or even if you did read the book, go read it again. Get a good audio version of it if you need to. But that is a dense book. I'm just talking about the first Dune. There's arguments to be made for the first or the second and third at least. If you don't want to go farther, but that first Dune is a really classic piece of literature. I think it deserves to exist and persevere in the way that Herbert wrote it, not the way that Hollywood has butchered it, and that you people have just decided to be okay with. Hard to let pass. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. I'll be back with more later. Till then, thanks for watching and keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true hero stories. Thanks for watching.